Who here in the store has the strongest deck?
That's a tough call because I'm pretty awesome, but Adam playing Prism is super good. Prism, all Illusionist, Enigma, all that is brutal right now.
What I'm struggling the most with is Prism.
I feel like it is Adam because I have not yet beaten him on Prism. I cannot figure him out.
Oh, Adam's Prism for sure. That deck is obnoxious.
Hi everyone, I'm Sully. I'm here at the City Games with my friend Adam. Adam recently got voted to have the strongest deck in the store. He's a fantastic Prism player, and today we have him here doing a deck tech on his Prism deck to let us know kind of how and why he has things the way they are and why it's strong. So take it away, Adam.
Awesome. Thanks, Sully. I love Prism. I played Prism back before she originally got CC or LL'd. So I was happy when she came out with the changes that we've gotten with her newest weapon a few sets ago. Made all the world change. So I started playing her again and love it. Just love it. So let's start off first with Prism equipment. So first we got off that newer weapon I was talking about. Absolute staple for Prism. It's basically the same as the old Luminaris, but it's just your first Herald and first Angel rather than all of your illusion attacks, which is a much better balance. So starting off, we only run one headpiece, Hail of Illumination. It's a great card for Prism. It gives you Spell Void 2 against wizards or you Runeblade if you really need it. But its big thing is the ability to destroy it, to put your card from hand into your soul, and then because if it's a light card, you get draw. But then if you put a Herald into your soul off of this during the action phase, you get to use Prism's ability to search for a Figment. So you can use it to turn off a lot of poppers with Figment of Triumph. If you need some extra ward, you can use it to get out that little bit of extra ward that you might need to save something else. So that's literally the only headpiece you'll ever run for this Prism, I feel like.
It seems like it's a good one.
Yep. Next, we've got the chest pieces. We run two, Rapture and Soul. Rapture is for most of your matchups. It's just really nice for, when a Herald goes to your soul during the action phase, Prism's ability to awaken costs 2 less, so it's just a free awaken.
Yeah.
Which is really great. And then Soul is for the Brute Guardian matchups where you think a lot of your stuff is going to get destroyed a lot more by Phantasm. So when you have an aura like Merciful Retribution out, after that card gets destroyed and put into your soul, it will give you, as long as you pitch a light card, you basically get a free Footsteps. So it's just a little bit of saving that one extra pitch, which is really needed because you're running a lot of yellows and all of our stuff are 2 costs, so it just helps you get off that one extra attack as well. Next, we got the arms. We run quite a few arms. Your main one's going to be Goliath Gauntlet. Just gives that nice extra +2 for a lot of her angels, or a lot of her heralds, especially Herald of Erudition.
Yep.
Just to make that 5 to 7 and make it a lot harder for them to block out. So that's the big thing you're going to want to save it for. You can use it earlier if you really need to, if you really want to get it on hit. To get a card in your soul, so you can pull out an angel, just get that one extra card to use Angel of Erudition's effect. You can use it for that, but you really want to try and save it for that Herald of Erudition.
A fantastic card, and unfortunate when you turn 0. Here's 7 Dominate, draw 2 cards. And,
Yeah. And then they block it out, and then, here's the second one.
Yep.
Or they block it out, and here's Fractal.
Yep.
Next, we got Calming Gesture. It's for the Runeblade Wizard setup, just Arcane Barrier. And then, if you need it, you can instant to pay 1, destroy this, create a Spectral Shield. It's just nice. We got Dreamweavers. Originally I was running Gamblers for the Brute matchup because KO is really, really difficult for Prism. I decided to switch it to Dreamweavers. It just gives me 1 extra slot because I also use this for Guardians. And sometimes running Gamblers can be a bit iffy because they'll see that you have it. They won't pop their or use their scab skins.
Yeah.
Which is fine to sort of
Trading equipment zones effectively.
This way, hopefully, you can get, if you save it for Erudition, you can threaten at 5 and get them to use up some of their equipment or block and get them to use up some of their cards to hopefully give you some relief. Right, then we got the legs. So, Phantasmal Footsteps, staple in any illusionist.
Yep. Anytime you're running Phantasm, I almost would hesitate to say you need it.
Oh yeah, yeah. You run this into almost every matchup besides Wizard. It's just even if you aren't using it for the gain action point back, it's just still pay 1, block 1. If you have a blue and you have Soul Shield in hand, it's just easy 7.
Soul Shield becomes 7 instead of 6.
Yeah.
Effectively. So.
And then we just have Silent Stilettos just for the Wizard matchup. Give some extra Arcane Barrier.
So with all your ward, you're running whatever ward you have. You have maybe 2, and then on the helmet, Spell Void 2 as well, if you need that.
If you need it. Into the Wizard matchup, that's usually what I'll try and save it for those big turns where you're especially worried about with Kano, turning off Wildfire or Sonic Boom or something. Definitely Spell Void 2 helps a lot.
Yes.
So next we'll move on to the few sideboards I have for this deck. So I don't run a lot of sideboard, which is very not normal. I do have a lot of cards in my deck, but the 5 I do run are I run 2 Passing Mirages. They're just nice for giving you a bit of relief from Phantasm Poppers, and I don't run 3 because a lot of the time heroes that you're going to be running this against, they only have 1 attack a turn anyways, and even if they do use their attack to just destroy it, that still gives you equal relief.
It's a whole turn of you get basically for free if they don't have the ability to have action points in. Only ones we're going to be worried about that is probably Root.
Yeah.
Dash a little harder now with we're doing this after high octane bang. So
honestly, even against Dash, I won't run that.
There's probably not enough poppers. Right
it's not enough of an issue. They might pop a few good turns. It might mess me over, but with just the no go again on it and extra card in hand, I just don't feel like the pros outweigh the cons. So then we do have 3 copies of Celestial Reprimand. Again, just they try and pop with a 6 or 7 and just nope. Let you get those few little extra hits through.
It even shut down on 8 if you have Ravages or Figment of Ravages.
Yeah.
Tenacity.
Yeah.
Tenacity.
Yeah. If you've already used up your Dreamers, it's great to save these if you can. Save them in your arsenal for Heroes of Erudition whenever they come up again. Because as soon as you put 1 out, they're just immediately going to toss down 1 card, and you're like, that's my block. It's like, okay.
Yep.
And then you get your free draw too. That's great. Alright, so next, the 2 Fables I have in the deck. I like these both in it. They're not needed for a good Prism deck, especially because they're so expensive. But, and a lot of people don't run them because they're no blocks, and they can really clog up your hand sometimes. But I just enjoy them a whole lot. So first we got the Great Library. It's always so fun to get this out. Like I said, it's, you can't pitch it, you can't block with it. So sometimes it can really just ruin your turn and sometimes cost you the game. So there's that double-edged sword.
But just time of 5 card hands for the rest of the game.
5 card hands for the rest of the game. And for them to destroy, they have to discard 2 yellows, which 90% of the time isn't going to happen. And if they do it, cool, they just wasted 2 cards. And I might be able to take tempo off of that.
Yeah. And we don't have a huge amount of people in the store that play enough yellow cards in the deck to make that worthwhile.
Yeah. And if it does also become a problem, I don't run it in my deck, but it's definitely something you can think about, is running Remembrance. Because Remembrance, you can actually put this back into your deck after it's been destroyed.
I know, again, as we said before, like the community feels like you're one of the people that's the strongest deck in the store right now. One of the things that has been being considered is a bunch of deathmatch arenas to be able to just, because only one landmark can exist at a time, so putting out that other deathmatch arena can get rid of it, can get you around that issue of having not enough yellows. Yet to see anyone do that, but we'll see and see what happens on that.
If Prism ever becomes an issue in the bigger competitive scene, she isn't much right now just because of a lot of other heroes, a lot just more consistent. Honestly, Remembrance is definitely something you'll think about putting in more because you can start to see a lot of more death matches and to get rid of it. And this way you can at least get it back. And
deathmatch comes out, I destroyed it. Remembrance, bring it back.
Yep. So then the other one we got is Light of Soul. Great card. It's a yellow, which Prism loves. And also, when you pitch it, reveal top card if it's yellow, which is going to be 90% of the time. Except unless you're me, which it's like 20%.
Yeah.
Don't know why. But if it's yellow, you can put it into your soul. Nice thing about that, too, is you can also, if you get a Herald into your soul off that way, you can also use Prism's ability to get out another Figment as well.
And if you're running the Chess Priest, it's a free Awakening. And
Yeah, if you're running
free
Rapture, it's a
value.
free Awakening. The one thing that can suck a little bit is if you're having to pay, if you're using it to pay for Awaken, then you get the Herald into Soul. It's not free, unfortunately.
It's not
but
ideal.
It's not ideal, but it happens, and
Yep.
you know they're both a little bit double-edged, being no blocks. But you know what? I enjoy them. I think they're worth it.
I would agree.
Yeah. So next we'll move on to our angels that we're running. I'm running most of the angels that can run except for one. So first we got protection. It's just a great one. Once you have a awakened angel out that you want to keep safe, just pulling this out as soon as you can, just to get that extra spectral shield and that extra prevention to hopefully keep it alive. Really helps. Then we got Figment of War, just creating that courage so you can make your
Erudition for 6.
Erudition for
ideally
6.
And
yeah.
any other, just extra damage is never something to be upset
Oh
about.
yeah, no. Especially when you're against opponents that are trying to really keep you from getting your heralds into soul. This can just at least make it turn those 6s into 7s again, just at that push point of, are you gonna give me 3 cards?
Yep.
So we got Figment of Triumph.
Ooh, Marvel as well.
Yeah, Marvel, beautiful. It's a must-have for this deck, especially against lots of people with poppers. Just helps, like I was talking about with the headpiece is, they have a popper for 6, and you're gonna use it, put a herald in the soul, pull that out. It's no longer a popper, and they're crying. We got Rebirth. Rebirth is great. It's not needed in the deck, but it's another angel. It's more ward. Plus, also it lets you put your yellow cards back into your deck, so you can use it to pull, bring back your Eruditions that got blocked out, some other Figments that got destroyed once it's awakened, or what's really nasty is you can also use it to push your Arclight Sentinels back on top of your deck, draw them back up, play them out, attack with this again, and just cycle that.
And again, against people who don't have the action point economy, then it's really good. So the occasional Runeblade, Root, and kind of it, I think. I don't think many other ones are going to have the ability to gain action points. Runeblades are getting Spellground Keepers and trying to get around it, and that's like a 1, maybe 2 turns.
Yeah. The definitely big one is Brute with Scab Skins.
Yes.
That's the most time we're gonna see it, but yeah. Then we got Ravages. Just next deal that a little bit of extra arcane damage, especially when they're low at health, and you can just sneak. They're at 1. You're able to just sneak this out 1 arcane if they don't have any arcane barrier, which a lot of people won't run against Prism in.
I will never run an arcane barrier against you anyway, because
I don't think it's worth it to do it.
No.
But it can cost you, and that's sort of the game you have to play. But it's just nice to sneak out extra arcane damage and threaten that just always you're going to be dealing at least 1-2 damage a turn, 2 if it's awakened.
Yeah, and even if you bring it out on 1 turn, awaken at the same turn, you're having 3 arcane
3 arcane damage.
provided you have the cards in suit, which you likely will.
You likely will. Next, we got the creme de la creme, the favorite of everyone, hated of everyone else. Figment of Erudition. Comes out, creates a ponder, which is really nice if you don't have, card arsenal at the end of turn. Just get that extra card in there. And then obviously when it's awakened, just extra card draw every turn. It's just
ridiculous.
So good.
Yep.
Next we got Figment of Judgment. Judgment is a really interesting card. 90% of the time it is going to be fodder for ward. But there's a few heroes, especially with their Earth heroes right now, because when it comes out, or when it attacks, you can turn a card in any banish zone face down. So if you're playing against the Earth heroes, you can turn their Earth cards face down and slowly decrease their Earth cards, help make it hard for them to get online. If you're playing against new and you have a blue in your banish, you can turn your own blue face down so you can't use it.
Yourself face down. Yep.
There's also, you can use it against Kano. It's a little hard to do. You need very specific timing. The best way that you can get it to work is if the Kano if you're playing against a good Kano, it's not going to work. But if you're playing against someone who doesn't quite have Kano down and know how to play against Prism, they'll Kano a bunch of times, have a bunch of cards that are banished, and try and Wildfire. If they do that, what you can do is you use your helmet to get out Judgment and target one of their cards in Banish Zone face down that they want to use. And they have to try and play that card before this resolves, so they won't get the buff from Wildfire. That's the big.
You're forcing their hand.
You're forcing them to not play the optimal chain that they want to.
And if they can figure out how to avoid that or figure out that might be coming up, they can.
They can avoid it and they can play around it. But if if they mess up or whatever, it's honestly it can really like turn a 60 damage turn into a 40 damage.
And that's
Which is still bad. It's still bad.
when you
But
start at 32, it's not great.
it's not great. But
it could be worse.
It can help. It can help.
It takes definite death into possible.
Yeah, especially because Kano is such, honestly, and I'm not gonna say easy, but very favored matchup for Prism because of all the ward she has, and she can just usually it's very hard for Kano to deal with Prism.
The rare popper that Kano is ever going to run, which might be a CNC,
Yeah,
or maybe a Wounded Bull.
yeah.
It's Kano does not have.
Oh,
Okay, I think we're good. Please someone just hit the light switch.
okay. I thought we were losing power for
I
a
thought,
second.
I thought we were too.
All right, so we got the last one here. Shariah, the other Shariah. This is also a Shariah. But she's really nice. You don't get out the same way as all the other Figments. This one you have to turn a Spectral Shield into her. So you can also use Protection for that. If you have her in hand or an arsenal, you can get out that, create the Spectral, turn it into this. And this is really, really, really nice because as her Awakened, whenever you deal damage, whatever damage you deal with her, you heal that much. So, she deals 4 physical and 2 arcane if you banish a card. So, threatening 6 damage and healing 6 damage.
Is it 2 arcane? I thought it was 1.
2 arcane.
2 arcane.
4 physical, 2 arcane. It is.
So threatening a 12 value swing off that,
Yeah.
and ward 4.
Yeah, and most people, like I said, aren't going to run arcane. So that's a free deal 2 damage, heal 2. And especially with 32 health, that healing is very much needed.
Yes.
All right. Now let's move on to the heralds of the deck. So these are always going to be your attackers. In my deck, all of my attacking cards besides my angels are heralds. I don't run CNCs. 90% because I don't have CNCs, but also it's just I find it also makes attacks a bit more consistent with having your yellows, having your triggering prisms, getting angels out. So we'll start off with 3 eruditions.
As it should be. I don't think there's
Always, your 5 dominate, go again on hit, go to soul, draw 2, get a figment.
Yep.
Amazing.
everything you want.
Everything you want. Next, we run 3 red Herald of Triumphs, 3 yellows, and 3 blues. Herald of Triumphs are going to be your favorite card against heroes with lots of poppers. Just makes it a bit harder, especially with especially at your hardest matchup. I'd say Kale, who runs a lot of
A lot of
5s and 6s. It just makes it that much harder for him to pop stuff. He will have the odd swing big and stuff that you can't really deal with, but
It's going to happen, but this reduces a lot of his ability to
yeah.
do that. With any of the 6s not counting anymore.
Yeah.
So,
And these, I even though they're most useful against heroes with lots of poppers, I always just keep them in. They're great cards.
I don't think they're ever... You're not unhappy to see it.
No.
Be like, oh, this person runs CNCs, and here now CNC doesn't pop it. It's just good.
Next, we got Heralds of Protection. So for this, I'm actually only running 2 reds, not 3.
Interesting.
Reason being, I want to get a few more yellows in my deck, make it a bit more consistent, because, more yellows you have, the better for Prism. That being said, it's totally fine to, run a few blues and reds, stuff like that. I want to run a few other yellow heralds too, and just make that go again more consistent, to make it easier to trigger library every turn. And
Yep. And it's still a 2 for 6.
it's still a 2 for 6. Goes into soul, get extra prevention.
Yep.
Great card. Next, we got the War Tune Heralds. These, I'm actually running 3 reds and only 1 blue.
Okay.
It's value of 1 for 7
It's insane.
is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
You expect the blue at 1 to 5 for value for other ones.
Yeah. Like, say you have 1 Herald in Arsenal, and you only got 2 cards left from blocking. Okay, well, there's 1 for 7. Here's another for 7.
Yep.
It's insane.
Yeah. 14 damage off 2 cards.
Yeah.
I think not unbeatable.
Yeah. And of course, any card that you're going to be running the blues or the blues or the reds for, you're going to be running all 3 yellows.
Yep.
You have no reason not to. And then I just have 1 blue just for a little bit extra pitches sometimes for Arclight Sentinel turns, Aura turns, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Just to help flush it out a little bit.
Yeah. If I'm running Vegeta's of Soul and I have a card going to Soul, I can boom, play an Aura, only pitching a blue. It's great. Next, we got Judgments. So we got 3 yellow Judgments. It's, on hit, they can't play cards from their banish zone. So you can turn off some of Levia's stuff when she's awakened, or demi-heroed.
Demi-hero,
Vincent is a big thing. Kano can't do a lot of stuff. So it can turn off a lot of heroes. And also it's EL, so I always just run it too. Then we got 3 Tenacities. Just another extra little dominate to help force those on hits so you can get cards in Soul, get your Angels out.
Yeah.
Maybe that late game just force that extra, hey,
even early on.
you're out of equipment unless you have a, defense reaction or prevention, you're dead. So it's just,
5 dominate, late game,
yeah,
fantastic. Early game, they don't want to threaten that on hit. You're getting value out of getting their equipment gone.
exactly. And then we got 2 Herald of Ravages. Just again for the extra arcane damage for on hits. So if they do like hit, you're getting just that 1 extra point of value.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, I wanted more yellows in the stack, and
This gives you more yellows.
it gives me more yellows and a little bit extra damage, so I enjoy it. Plus, I got the promos, so they're pretty.
Yes. Alright, anytime you put promos in, you do.
Oh, yeah. Especially my favorite promo in the deck, my Cold Flow Genesis. So pretty.
Yep.
So we're moving on to auras, obviously, and we got starting off with 3 Genesis. Always, just amazing. Start a turn, you can put a card from hand into Soul. If it's a Herald, it doesn't trigger Prism, because Prism is only during the action phase. But if you Rapture, it does turn Rapture online for the free Awaken, because Rapture is just during the turn. Plus, also, get a card in Soul, create Spectral Shield, draw a card. If you're putting a Light Illusionist into Soul,
It's just everything you want.
if you already have an Awakened Angel, helps get those cards in for
Yep.
burn fodder. It's great. Next, we got Mercifuls. Another awesome card for Prism. Another must-have. 1 for against people who have a lot of poppers. This way, if they pop one of your heralds through Phantasm, it'll still go into Soul. It'll deal 1 arcane if you invest in a Soul. This puts a light card into your Soul, so you pitch a light card, you get a free action point.
The action point.
And because if a herald goes into your Soul off of it, you get a search for a Figment as well.
Just like triple dipping off that card.
It's amazing.
Yep. That's
and
why
then
it doesn't live more than 1 turn.
No, yeah. The nice thing too is if people try to destroy it by attacking it, it triggers on itself, so it goes into your Soul. Still deals an arcane. It's great.
Yep.
What's really funny is when they go down to 1 health and your opponent's at 1 health, you have one of these guys out in a Spectral Shield. If they don't have any form of prevention, they can't win. It's GG.
Yep.
They go to attack you. Spectral Shield pops before you take damage, kills them. They try and kill this. This pops, deals 1 damage. So they can't. It's amazing. I've definitely won a few games off of that, and it's just so satisfying.
It's not fun to play against. I don't think I've lost because of that, but I've gotten close.
It's definitely a lot more common in Old Prism because she was running a lot more of the auras and Spectral Shield generation. In this deck, you're mostly running it for those anti-poppers, or stopping poppers. Next, I would say probably the most hated card in the deck.
Depends. If you're someone who goes wide, terrible. If you're someone who sends 1 attack, it sucks, but it's not the worst.
Yeah. So Arclight Sentinel. This is why I do run, a few blues, just to make it easier to pay for this, because it's really, as good as it is, it can be really damaging pitching your whole hand to play the one card, and then you basically just pass your turn.
At 6 cost, it is a big investment.
It is a big investment.
But if you have Genesis out, I've seen you do this before, where you go 2 blues into Arclight Sentinel, into on your turn put a card into Soul for
Yep.
Genesis,
Yep.
still send off an attack.
Yeah, draw yellow. Oh, there goes Angel of Erudition. Draw 2 more.
Yeah.
Just continue. It can be really, really good. What's also really nice is if you're having those big turns where you've had Herald of Erudition come in, you've had Angel of Erudition as well, and you have a lot of cards, but you only get 1 more attack out of your weapon. You can still use a lot of those cards to pay, pitch 3 yellows, pay for this, and still send in 1 attack. And
It helps you get rid of the extra cards that you might have, because Prism, you can just run into the issue where
I
you're
have
going to
too
have
many
a
cards
Herald,
and
a Herald,
not
and an Angel,
yeah,
and you have too many cards, so you're going to IP yourself, even with the card draw.
yeah.
Library.
Yeah, so 1 card I originally had in this deck, I took it out. I'm trying to see if I can put it back in and make it work, is Otarath. Otarath is whenever I would deal 1 damage to opponent, they take 1 additional, and all of my Illusionist attack action cards get go again. So having it out, you have your draw, and it's just still Herald, 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 all with go again.
Yep.
Because of it. So I'm trying to see if I can get that back in. I was having problems with it, so I took it out. But we're seeing
It almost sounds like you're going in that. If you go that way, it's almost more playing for like a combo style.
yeah,
But then with all the searching for the angels and the figments, that it just kind of, you can't ever set up a pitch track. You just have to kind of hope you stumble into it, and you could maybe try playing for a long game when you have that at like, people are down at like 15 health at that point, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna send 30 plus damage this turn by being able to do that. But it's also then subject to card draw.
yeah. One nice thing about Prism 2 is you're talking about pitch stacking is you don't have to worry about that in Prism.
Yeah.
You're shuffling so much, it
You
doesn't
want to
matter.
pitch stack? You don't have to learn how to do that.
Yep. And lastly, these are a new addition to my deck. 3 blue truces. I just think they're really funny. You have library out, you have a card in arsenal, you play this, at end of turn you drop 5 cards. Do you want to give me a
7-card hand?
A 7-card hand with the 1 in arsenal? It's like it. You know what? They still have to do it. They can't afford not to. So.
No. And honestly, I still win most of the time, because like we were talking about with Otarath and Give and Go again, you're at most sending 3 attacks per turn.
Yeah.
And
And
you
the
don't have a lot of any of the Phantasm which have what is it? Spears of Sorelia. It's 1 for 5 go again. Phantasm.
Yeah.
You're not running any of those, so your chain link is 3 wide at the most. So giving away 7 cards is a threat, and opens up the easier ability to be like, oh, I'm just going to play out a Genesis, or I'm going to play out Arclight Sentinel.
Yeah, or it just also gives you that few extra block cards that you might need, so you can keep the ones that you really want to.
Yeah.
Or you, like you said, have Arclight Sentinel.
Arclight Sentinel.
There's that that 1 blue I was actually looking for, and
Yep,
there you go.
gives you a 2nd blue. It does have a threat to it, but without Otarath, it's not going to be... a 7-card hand isn't quite as threatening as it was sounds.
Yeah.
He's still going to swing in for a lot of...
I just like that it gives more options,
Oh, yeah.
especially in a deck where, honestly, you have a lot of non-blocks. It's having just the few extra cards is really nice.
And even at that, it's like, you want to cycle your hand. I don't want this card. I'm going to block with this card. I get... And draw another one off of Truce.
yeah.
It does give value.
Yeah. All right, so we got the last few ones here. These are just a few buff and tech cards that I have in the deck. So starting off with 3 Angelic Wraths, yellow. I see a lot of people running the reds for the +4. I prefer the yellow. It's 1, it's yellow for Prism, which is great, and a lot of the time the +3 is good enough. Especially when you're running, or you're coming in for 6 or 7, and they're not going to be putting up 9, 10 to block.
No.
It's usually just enough to get over, get that on hit. And these cards are also ones you won't run into Guardian or Brute or people who are worried about popping a lot of stuff just because they're going to pop it and it's not going to be, it'll just be a dead card in hand.
Yeah, you're not getting the value out of it.
Yeah.
And if the times you do, it's more of a luck-based thing that they didn't have a popper than anything.
Yeah. Next, we got Soul Shields. These are my only defense reactions in the deck. They're yellow. Great. Always what Prism needs. And also a 2-block 6 that goes into your soul after the chain closes. Helps feed for angels. It's a block 6 in general, which isn't bad.
It's fantastic, and it plays off of, you have a yellow card, which is most of your deck.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Or for those turns where you have a blue in hand, you have this, and you can
Phantasmal Footsteps.
footsteps, 1 attack. Hopefully it's not 6 so you don't destroy it.
Yep.
And then use the rest of your 2 to block this block a higher attack later on. It's great. Especially against like new where you're blocking one of the daggers at first and then
Oh yeah, just block one out. Here's 6 on the next one.
yeah.
Fantastic.
So lastly, fractal replication.
Yep.
It's, from what I've seen, very, I wouldn't say unpopular, but not a common card that a lot of prisms run because of just how its mechanics work. So it technically has a base 0 attack and 0 defense. It's also red. So it often can sometimes, if you're having to block a lot, it can be a dead card in hand. Because the way it works is that it gains the highest attack, defense, and all abilities of all illusionist attack action cards on chain. So if you're playing, Erudition, it's great for like if you have this in hand, you have Angel of Erudition, they still have a bunch of blocking equipment. You Goliath Gauntlet, Erudition, they block it out for 7. You can just basically sneak in technically just another Erudition.
Yeah.
It gains the Go Again from Luminaris that gave this one because it gains all of the abilities from it.
Yep.
And it's basically copies it exactly. So you can still get your draw. You don't get Figments off of it, sadly. But honestly,
It doesn't matter at that point.
yeah, I think the cons for the few times that it can just be a dead card in hand the pros outweigh the cons of that.
And you can still defend with it if you're defending with another card.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you have that illusionist card first, and then you block with it.
Can it not be on the same chain link?
It can.
Okay,
Yeah, but
yeah.
you just don't want to.
You just don't want to be like, okay, I put this by itself.
Yeah.
Unless, Art of War's banned, but you can't, then Art of War out of our defend with card from Art.
Yeah.
Not a thing that we have to deal with anymore because Art of War.
Yeah.
I'm curious, I can't remember now either. Was Art of War a card that you ran in this deck?
I tried it a few times. I think with how I've changed my deck since I originally did it, I would now.
Okay.
How I originally had this deck laid out is a bit different. It just didn't work well enough. I had a few more auras in the deck, which was making my attacks a lot more inconsistent. I've changed up stuff a little bit, taken out a few auras, kept in the ones that I just really need to keep in. I think now would be fine to do. Yeah.
But, unfortunately,
It's banned.
it's banned.
But,
Sad ninja moments.
yeah.
Sad prison moments, too. Anyway,
Yeah. This also is not a card you will run against people with poppers. The big thing you want of it is to get the attack off, but if they destroy your thing, you're not getting it.
Yep.
So it'll just be a dead card all the time in that case. So, but yeah, that is my deck.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
We'll probably see you on the stream table today here,
Yeah.
and I hope you do quite well.
Thank you.
Just not against me. I want to win.
All right. Thanks for having me.